Good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC in a minute. First, the disclaimer. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you'll be able to find pertinent links in the description box. If you want to go ahead and do a deep dive, you should be able to go ahead and do so. Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I do use profanity. And when we talk about places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues, disabled people being tortured and abused. So if you have children who watch the channel that are 16 and younger, parental supervision very much advised, alright? Alright, back to the Tosha brothers. A more unpopular opinion I have is that pretending to be neurotypical is okay. Yes! And it's not as nearly an unpopular opinion within the neurodivergent community as one might think. It's exhausting to pretend to be something that you're not. Every single second somebody from the public may have eyes on you. Because you have to think about it, right? I'm not neurotypical. So when I go out the door, I have to be thinking about my posture. I have to be thinking about the placement of my hands. I have to think out and act out facial expressions to convey emotions. I can't, to this day, still tell whether I'm actually monotone or whether you can hear emotions in my voice or not. A good majority of the time, you're probably not. Doesn't mean I don't have them. It's just that's one of the disconnects that I happen to have. A lot of mental energy goes into pretending to be like the neurotypicals in the outside world. It's exhausting, it's stressful, it causes severe anxiety, and these things do not have that wonderful of an impact on one's overall physical as well as mental health. Which is why many of us burn out at younger and younger ages every year. Again, I've told you guys, my first major burnout was at 16 years old, and I still suffer physical repercussions from that time period. At this day, I am 41 years old. And it's still there. The physical issues that popped up afterwards. We don't want to have to pretend to be something we're not every single day in order to be accepted or for society to deem us worthy of love, of friendship, and things of that nature. It is a defense mechanism that many people have, not just autistic people. A lot of people who have been through just some horrific shit in their lives, or they are in any way abnormal from what is considered the norm at the time. A lot of people mask. Not many of them have the whole of society demanding that they do so the way that they do with us. That's the major difference. And that in order to safeguard our own mental health, it is crucial to mask. I have been covertly masking all my life. Most of us have had to do so. It never felt wrong. It always flowed naturally. Now with me, not so much. It seems like it now because I've got 41 years of practice. Some of us can pick up on it a little bit easier than others. I have to exhaust a massive amount of mental energy to not just get a mask going, but to keep it on. And it gets more difficult hour after hour after hour. Because of this, I had the best childhood imaginable. Nobody ever picked on me or treated me differently. I was, but it wasn't by family. Because of this, okay. Because they didn't know I was autistic. And I think saying it's okay to unmask is putting children in harm's way. Kid, all through evolution, we were expected to adapt to our surroundings this way. Saying we can just stop is silly and dangerous. There are serious consequences to not masking, like developing CPTSD in early childhood from bullying. See, hun, here's where the problem is. The answer isn't just mask until we die an early death. You may not recognize it. I don't want to disvalue what you're saying because you're younger, but the psychological toll of being forced to mask and pretend to be something. He's saying it's pretending to be neurotypical is okay. I'm going to tell you it's not. The psychological damage over time of being forced into something that you are not has its own post-traumatic stress disorder. Do you think it is okay that in order to be treated like a kid, you have to pretend to be something you're not? Because people are not willing to meet you where you actually are. But nobody picked on me, and that was great and all. Was it? Do those kids actually like you? Or do they like your mask? And then there comes a time period where you've masked for so damn long that you don't even know who you are anymore. You've never allowed to be you. So no, masking forever to protect yourself from bullying isn't the answer. But then they'll be bullied. As an older autistic, hun, let me tell you a little bit something. We are othered. We just are. Like, kids can sense it. Know how, like, certain predators smell fear? Kids sense otherness. To an almost like a supernatural ability, as it were. They know who's different. The pecking order within a generation of a singular school gets decided in those early years. I can tell you that. I'll continue to reading. We are sensitive people by definition, and not masking, although it's a nice fault, it holds no real merit in reality. That is my stance. Teaching autistic children to mask is a good thing that protects them. Honey, it didn't protect me. Masking has never protected me. I began to be better able to protect myself once I stopped trying to pretend. When I stopped trying to be what everybody else wanted me to be. When I stopped living the lie. Do I still mask on occasion? Yes. I'm still a semi-public figure. I still go out there. I still do mentor to mentor. But I don't wear that mask all the time anymore. Because I can't. It is psychologically devastating to do so. Instead, as I got older, I insist to be taken and accepted on my own terms, or not at all. And, but you're autistic, you should conform and want to get better. Fuck your conformity. okay? I was never going to be conformed enough to these other people's opinions anyway. So why should I psychologically exhaust myself to the point of an early grave for other people's gratification and their sense of peace? But when don't that give you peace? No. It ends you burned out at 16. Let me continue. I also want more studies into proprioception and interoception, especially through the field of neurology. Autism would be taken more seriously if there were more concrete neuroscience involved in its existence. There are still many things we don't understand about the human brain. It would be pure stupidity to write off autism as a defect when there are so many good qualities to it that neurotypicals don't get to see. Honey, they get to see it every day, they just don't care. They don't care if we're smart. They don't care if we can help provide them with wonderful progressive discoveries. They care we have a label. I'm gonna be nice. Autism is a neurotype, and good science would help prove that substantially. Right now, we just see autism as a set of behaviors that are problematic, and more study into neuroscience would change that. Then we could finally get to focusing on the more human aspect of our condition. But the studies are being done, sweetheart. The whole point of all of this is all it goes to. With services severely underfunded, and families living paycheck to paycheck who can't cover the astronomical amount of medical bills for all the different... You see where I'm going, right? We need more research money going into actual services and helping to develop up those services and reach more people who are currently falling through the cracks, instead of throwing money down the toilet and keep saying, oh, we can write it off as another search for a cure. Meanwhile, families are barely making it. Barely making it. And we're going to go ahead and close out on that one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, you know the drill. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments, and make sure that you are still set up to receive notifications. We don't want you missing any new episodes for Down the Rabbit Hole or the Snake Oil Salesman series. I do appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everyone.